Kia ora, and welcome to a quick preservation Broodtwister guide. This isn't going to be very formal, but we'll step through my kill video and kind of discuss why I made various decisions. I played decently on the kill, but not perfectly, so sometimes I might talk through what I should have done instead. I'm Chrono Warden for this fight, and I'd highly recommend it. It provides a mix of huge canister healing via Emerald Communion, and very good egg break healing via regular Lifebind ramps. If you're more comfortable with Flame Shaper, then that definitely works too. Before we start, we'll quickly go through talents for this fight, because they're a little different from normal. We'll take 2 points in flow state here, so the Emerald Communion lines up better with canisters. This will also let us cast 1 stasis, 1 extra time in between. I opted to drop Dream Flight, but if you're a better player than I am, you could try and find a use for it. I just found it was both too dangerous and too difficult to hit a good portion of the raid. On Ovinax, we're going to pop stasis before the pull. We're going to fill it with 2 temporal anomalies, and then when the boss is just about to pull, you'll store a third one. We're going to use this to control our entire first ramp, basically. So it's going to head to the container in a few seconds, and I'm going to release now so that I have time to manually echo anyone that my TAs don't hit. With range DPS, they sometimes stand out to the side and you won't hit them with your TAs, but that's fine because you have enough. You notice I miss one target here, so I'm going to VE him so that I get full 20-person coverage. Yeah, don't do that. Don't stand in swirls. This is a terrible, terrible pull for me, but we'll make it work. We've already lost our feral. So what you want to do here is you want to echo as many of these people with eggs as you can, and then you want to VE and then Spirit Bloom yourself. I don't do that here, since I'm misplaying the start of this pull horribly, but you'll see me do that more and more as the fight goes on. I hope. Rewind is a bit funny here. It's not great anywhere in particular, so you'll see I use it here to get it on cooldown, and then I'm basically trying to line it up with bad tank explosions. If the tanks play very well, you won't have any of those. That's kind of just the reality of Rewind on this fight. So my second stasis comes up here, and I need to send it as soon as possible to get it on cooldown so that I have it for the second canister. Egg breaks go out. I'm going to echo as many of these as I can. You generally won't get all of them. You probably could if you hit a good TA and you play well, but in general, don't expect that. So the stored stasis Spirit Bloom was on myself. So after I cast VE to get Life Bloom out, I release it, and it heals them for a lot. This is probably the safest egg breaks in the entire fight, but it's still good to heal them off as quickly as possible. We have a bit of downtime here where not much happens. So I'm mostly just going to DPS and throw a little life bind combo in there, but you could skip that and not slow your progression down. So more egg breaks coming out here. I've tried to TA, so I hit a few of them, and it looks like I succeeded. So same combo here. Verdant Embrace, Echo on yourself, and then Spirit Bloom rank 2. I like to Fire Breath shortly after Dream Breath or Spirit Bloom, because this is the easiest way to play it for your temporal compression stacks, which are really important with your tier set. You don't really want to not cast it at all, but... Okay, so stasis is back up here. The second stasis is Temporal Anomaly, a single Echo, and then another Temporal Anomaly. You notice I try and throw that Temporal Anomaly out towards the range camp because they're really hard to hit with the release. So I'll release here. You can hit 20 people here. I've done pretty well. This is 15-ish. I wait for the Guardian Spirit to go on myself, and then we Emerald Communion. Chrono Warden is absurdly good at handling these canisters. More egg breaks. You'll notice that I have the Emerald Communion bug here, where I'm going to glow green for the rest of the fight. That's something they will hopefully fix soon, but I played pretty much all of Prog with this green glow because you can get rid of it by relogging, but it comes back. Alright, there's another tank explosion coming up. This lines up well with Rewind, and it's a semi-dangerous moment in the fight, so it's a pretty good usage. This one's on a Death Knight, so it's considered safer than the one on the bear. More eggs are going out. Same thing every time. Hit as many as you can. VE, and then Echo Spirit Bloom yourself. So I had to move here, which broke my combo a little bit, but I still got pretty good healing off on them. If you missed any, or if any just still have the debuff afterwards, just like throw an Echo on them and they'll get hit by your next spell. A lot of the time you don't have to rush to remove the debuff, it just depends where in the fight you are. So we have another easier period here. I'm going to do some smaller lifeline ramps. These are pretty much just cleaning up. The boss kind of pulses, more and more absorbs and damage on the raid as the fight goes on, so sometimes those mini ramps and there's not much happening do help quite a lot. Alright, so you'll notice I waited for the essence to come up. Because we're doing Echo into Spirit Bloom rank 2, we actually have quite a lot of time in our life bind. So if you need to take half a second for your essence to recharge, that's generally okay. Going into this third canister, definitely be aware of your stasis cooldown. I get a lot of debuffs this pull. Jesus. Because as soon as stasis comes back up, you need to act on it. Look at me fire breathing. DPS is important, see? Okay, stasis is coming up. I'm going to stasis, temporal anomaly, and then I'm going to pop tip the scales immediately. That's going to give me a giant burst of cooldown reduction and haste, and it's going to mean I get my second temporal anomaly stored much, much faster. So again, I've done pretty well here. I think that's 18 or 19 people hit. Always aim for 20, but realistically, you might not get it every time. Egg breaks go out. Good time for another Spirit Bloom. Generally, Evoker doesn't use much mana, but you can go through it on this fight as Chrono Warden. So I actually mana potted early in the fight, and I'll have another one coming up in a minute and a half or so. With the third canister done, there's no like big event coming up that we're scared of, so you can kind of just send your abilities on cooldown. Obviously, you still have to heal the egg breaks, but feel free to just like press your buttons as they come up a bit. Another life bind combo. It's not the best, but it's okay. So stasis is coming back up now. I want 3 high value spells in the stasis, so I'm gonna just DPS a bit so that I can get Spirit Bloom and Temporal Anomaly in there. With like careful planning, sometimes you can just have them all up when you stasis, but it's not too big a deal usually. So I have my third rewind there. My rewind usage on this fight is very flexible. I'm completely out of mana, but the boss only has 2% life left, so we're just going to send everything as it comes up and pray. That was like a decent pull for me overall. You probably would have seen quite a few mistakes doing stuff like not including the echo before I spirit bloomed and stuff like that. But if you're hitting your big canister healing, you'll still do quite a lot. Like all of my canisters were quite good. I was hitting 18 to 20 people. And so if the rest of your play is kind of 85 to 90%, you'll still do quite well. That's Broodtwister. Thank you so much for watching.